Hi, this is Greg Koopman, and in this video I'm going to discuss the market basket analysis and how you can use a SSAS cube and a pivot table to achieve a market basket analysis tool. The problem: there's not a simple tool in the Excel pivot table for market basket analysis using an analysis services multidimensional cube as its source. Solution: place an item dimension to evaluate into the filter section of the Excel pivot table. Display item and other dimensions in pivot table's body that are related to the sales order corresponding to the selected members of the item dimension to evaluate filter. Create a metric that shows a frequency % of dimension members that appear in the pivot table body. How? Here I demonstrate how I used the many-to-many relationship in the cube designer in combination with creating two identical item dimensions, using one to represent the item dimension to evaluate filter. This will be brought to you in part 2 of this video series. Basically, here's my pivot table against a cube. And what I want you to notice is this analyzing product hierarchy. All right, I have two dimensions based on product. One for analyzing, which is where you filter. The other one doesn't get filtered by that though. Not in the sense where, it doesn't get filtered. So they all show up still, but it's all based under the sales order. The sales order is like a check you get at a restaurant. So if you have 4 people in your party and you ordered, a bunch of different food, you might have 10 line items. So that's what happens here, is that we're looking at the market basket, and you've heard the saying about the guy that goes in the store and he's buying diapers for his babies and it's Friday night, and he also, in general, a lot of times they buy beer in the same market basket, okay, for the same check in the same grocery store. So an analyst want to know what items are purchased with other items. Amazon does this, where you buy these certain things. I buy a bunch of technical books, so they're always promoting these different technical books. I also buy everything else like everyone else. So they know what your buying preferences are, and they look at your market basket and the computer tries to figure out what else can we sell this guy, what else can we give him extra on that market basket. That's just one way to analyze it. There's other reasons to analyze the market basket. But anyways, this tool allows us. It's very hard to analyze it based off a cube and a normal pivot table because you can't isolate the product dimension. So you have the product dimension here, and in a normal pivot table, when you filter it, you see only that product. But here, in the way I've designed it, technically, you're able to choose the product here and then see what was associated with that product in the market basket. Okay, so in this case, what I have is I have these filters at the top, right? And so when I go into the filter, I'm going into Europe, and I'm going into United Kingdom, right? And I'm just going to do England. I want Scotland. So I'm only doing England here, right? Okay, so what's under England? So England has a bunch of stuff under England. Doesn't mean everyone's buying these things. We'll leave it at England, okay? So I go to England, and I have England for June, and that's June 2009. So I've checked June 2009, okay, and I selected from this product hierarchy. Now I could go audio, I can go lower levels. There's 3 levels to this hierarchy. I can go to MP3, MP4 and MP3s. I can go up to Bluetooth, okay, and Bluetooth has all these different areas that they could buy from, right? These different products. Okay, but instead of, some of those aren't being purchased. So for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose Bluetooth headphones for this demonstration. So I choose Bluetooth headphones, and I'm going to select from a different order sizes. Actually, I'm going to leave the order size for right now, all. So I did all, and you see there's 12,000 orders, okay? And so let's think about this. So for 12,000 orders, there are for audio, which is the category. This is a category of products. This product layout here, this product hierarchy over here, is the same exact dimension. It's a duplicate of this analyzing product hierarchy. So when I choose Bluetooth here, under audio, you can see that when I drill down on there, I see Bluetooth here also. So it's exactly the same, except for that here it doesn't get filtered. So what I'm doing is we're going to go through, so we're looking at England, we're looking at June 2009 and Bluetooth sales of Bluetooth headphones with all order sizes. And the order sizes can range again from 4 and less, 5 to 9 and 10 and more. So anyway, so what we're doing is we're looking at the frequency of the purchases. So what this means is that since we know we chose Bluetooth headphones and it's under the audio category, we know that 100% of all those orders are going to be for Bluetooth headphones, right? So now the question is, how many on all those orders, those 12,516 orders, what's the percentage of those orders that had computers on them, that had a computer product on them? Well, 93% did. And 93% also had a home appliance on it. Doesn't mean the same 93%, but it's 93%. Cameras and camcorders, 81%. Cell phones, 69%. Music, movies, and audiobooks, 29%. These other metrics here are based off a different way. These are based on that if you bought one computer, then you would get assigned at least 1%, okay? Or that would be one order that had it on, and the percentage would be according to that. If you bought 5 on one check, you'd still only get credit for 1. So that's 1%. So it just tells you uniquely what the percentages of orders you have. Over here, where you can actually see the order, the actual number of orders here under the orders. Of course, since we're filtering on Bluetooth, it has all the orders, 12,516. It's on every order, of course. Computers are only 11,000, okay? TV is 7,000, but that's where we're getting this measurement here of this percentage. Okay, quantity is based on more weighted. So if you bought 5 computers on one check and 3 on another, and you're always buying several computers, then the weight would be different and your percentage would be different. Sales percentage is the same concept. It's weighted. It's weighted based on the amount of money it costs. So if your computers cost a lot and your music and audio books are cheap, well then of course your computers will be at a higher percentage of the sales order total. Okay, and so here's the metrics in percentages, and here's the metrics, quantities, sales, and orders in numerical as counts. Average lines. This is how many was a typical average line. So what's interesting here is audio. Typically, they bought only one line item had represented audio. Yet in computers, 3 line items on any check that was purchased had 3 computer items on it. Now, of course, computer items can range desktops, laptops, monitors, and within printers, faxes, and then you go in there and you can see all the quantities and what actually was purchased. So these are all broken out. And so what you have here is a beautiful, beautiful breakout of all these metrics that are very powerful metrics. In fact, they're very powerful, but they're also very computer intensive to generate. Even in a cube, if we run this at the worldwide level, which in this case has 15 million orders, and probably more, about 160 million line items. If we ran it at the full out on everything, it would probably take 5 minutes to come back with the whole report. So there's another way we approach that problem. But anyways, in the short end, with 12,000 rows or under 100,000 rows, which is a pretty good sampling actually, we can do quite a bit here. Okay, now if I want to go down to Bluetooth, and let's say now I want to come in here, and I want to say, okay, well, let's see. What is the breakout by item itself? Okay, so we have audio, we have computers, and we could just drill down into these and see that, right? But let's say we don't. Well, let's say we pull product hierarchy off the grid, and we brought product on. Wow, that might be a lot of products. But we're only dealing with what, 12,000. This is a number when you're using this tool you have to look at. 12,000 isn't that much. 12 million would be take quite a while. Let's see what products are being purchased when we buy. Ooh, that was very quick. So what we're seeing here is we're seeing all these items have activity when you buy and that's just almost too much, right? So if we looked at all the line, so we have a lot of items here. So let's do this. Let's take these sets of items. So for example, this first one, Datum Advanced Digital Camera M300 Azure, frequency 1 out of one is purchased out of 64 orders. Okay, so out of the 12,000, 64 orders had this particular Azure on it when someone bought a Bluetooth. Okay, so what we're looking at, and we could break this out even by we can break this and sort it, right? Sort it largest to smallest. So we see the hot seller, the main seller when audio is sold is NT wireless transmitters. Okay, but if we look down here and we go further down, look, we got a refrigerator being sold here. Oh, these are zeros. Okay. So anyways, you see the concept here and how this can be applied. So let's just go back to where we were. And now I want to show, I'm just going to bring this back to the old view we had there. Okay, so now we're in England. June, Bluetooth headphones, order size. Now notice if we want to break it out by order size, let's see everyone that's sold on small. There weren't any. Okay, there's no small orders had Bluetooth headphones on it. Medium, okay, or let's say large. On large orders, look, it's dropped down to 9,000 orders because it's large. It's a small. We're breaking out the subset, so you can break this stuff out completely throughout the pivot table usage of this and how you want to do it. Okay, so if I wanted to, I could even come in here and say, okay, England is broken out into, I don't know what you call them, provinces or what you call them. But if I come here and I go and I look at my field list and I come over to customer and I look at city name, I believe that will give me city name. I can see what city, or me anyways. So I go into rows. Click on rows. Now look at this. I got a breakout by the city. Okay, in fact, this doesn't go any lower than city, so I guess it's per store per city. But if you look here, it just broke it all out by city with the same filter for England and Bluetooth headphones for large items. Okay, and if you look at the bottom, it's the same total here, 9,758 that we had just when we had the aggregate of it all, except for now it's all broken out. And so you can analyze it by store. The possibilities for this tool are limitless. So let's go ahead and look at one more thing, and then the rest you can figure out on your own because it's all pivot table related. The whole difference is that you have these two items. But let's look at one more thing. So here we are looking at just England. Now let's say, how does this compare to worldwide? Okay, so if we look worldwide and we come over to this other spreadsheet, I'm looking at June, I'm looking at customer. Let's make sure customer's right here. I'm going to go to Europe and I'm going to go to England. England. Where is England? Probably right in front of me, isn't it? United Kingdom, my bad, huh? My bad, England. There we go. So we're in England, right? There's our 12. We're looking at medium here, so let's go to large. Okay, so there's our 9,758 total, right? And that's for England. But let's say we want to make this for the entire world, okay? Now, that might be a lot of data. We know already that 15 million can be quite intensive, right? So let's just go, but maybe not. I've calculated this up to in 100,000, and you're pretty good. It's going to run pretty quick, even higher than that. So let's just change this to the world. So that way we can compare our numbers. So I'm going to say all for all the customers. Wow, that was fast. So now it went to 44,000 right here, right? So that's 44,000. Okay, so that's for all the different countries, for all the countries. So if we looked at our numbers here, which is kind of tough to look at when I flip screens, but there's 96, 94, 90, 81, 95, 95, 84. So you see, you can get a comparison against it, and you see it's different. Now, let's say, for example, now our sampling, that's for the world. Let's say we wanted to go higher, and I wanted to see audio. Now, audio has 3 more levels, so that number's probably going to jump to 100,000 because it has a lot more subcategories in it. Jump to 88,000, right? And let's just change our size to all. So now it's going to jump again. See, each time as it gets bigger, it takes a little bit longer. Okay, so now let's say we're going to change it to all years. Now, 1 second, let's hold back now. All years is going to be big, okay? And so what I'm going to do with all years, I'm going to run it, but I might have to pause the tape and then tell you how many seconds it takes. This isn't totally optimized, this cube for this. It's about 164 million rows in here of line items, and that's about 16 million orders. So that's a lot of data. We're not going to go that high because it's still filtered by audio, so it's not going to be quite that high, but it's going to be a lot. Okay, and I should be timing this while I have the timer on, so I can tell you afterwards. But when this comes back, okay, that came back. So I don't know, it took about 3 minutes, I think, 3.5 minutes. I think that's like, this is why I built this next dimension. I'm going to show you, so you don't have to go through that. For that 3.5 minutes, we looked through 6 million orders. Sure, you have to have 6 million sales orders to figure out, to get a representative sample. Maybe not. I'm not sure. You'd have to ask a statistician. But from college, I remember it seemed like it was somewhere 2,000 or something like that. But I'm not, again, there's a lot of data going on here, so you'd have to figure that out with a statistician. But anyways, what I did, and let's just take a look at what, here's our quantity. It's 64 million rows it went through. Because the quantity, actually, for every line item, I only have a single quantity. So if you bought 5 computers, they would ring it up 5. It wouldn't say quantity 5, for one line item. Each line item has a single quantity on it. So 64 million is how many rows it went through to figure that out. Now that doesn't sound like much in a normal cube, a normal pivot table, because it's not. Okay, but this isn't the same as a normal pivot table and a normal cube. This is using some concepts under the covers in order to be able to isolate this filter from here. We have to use something called many-to-many. I'm not going to go into it in case this is just for business people. I will later in this video, but it's very intensive. It's very intensive, even for a cube. So I'm pointing that out to you. This isn't I didn't performance tune this very much at all. But out of the box, it works pretty good for that many rows. But a smarter way to go, I think, is to use this dimension I built, which is called a sampling dimension. So all this is saying is that if you want to run faster and just use a sample of the data, you can use these metrics. So here's 6 million rows, right? What's 5% of 6 million? Quick I don't know, 10% is 60,000 and 5% is probably 30,000. I don't know if that's right. So I'm going to click on 5%. And now we're going to get a decent response time. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that if you're going to compare against very high level dimensions that are going to cost you a lot in time processing, then you might want to use this sampling mechanism I put in. So you see that came back. It was about 10, 12 seconds so it gives me a sample worldwide of 5%. It was still 301,000 rows, which is I think it's a pretty good representation. And that's across the world. Okay. It's not, and it takes that many sales orders it represents. So we can look at those numbers, and when you jump over to the other slide, compare it to England. So we have England for June. We have customer for all dates for all customers on audio, 5%. Oh, we should go Bluetooth. So let's go back down here and make this Bluetooth. Say 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, 12,000, 13,000, 14,000, 15,000. Okay, so that took about 20 seconds. Okay, not the greatest, but that's pretty good. You're getting a lot of analysis tools here, So they've got Bluetooth worldwide, 5% of the sampling size, and compared to 9,000 for England were sold. But this is for all dates, as we see up here. Let's make that June now also. Okay. Wow, that came back fast. That was 2,848. So, of course, that's 5%. So that's even lower than England. Okay. So let's go ahead and change that to 50%. See, so as you use this tool, as long as that order number, you keep that within a reasonable amount, your performance is going to, see, that came back in 3 seconds. Your performance is going to work. So there's 28,000 to it's 9,000 in England only. Okay, even in this case, since we're so filtered upstairs here in the there, we could probably run this one all out, and it's probably going to come back with like 60,000, 70,000. 57,000. It came back in 4 seconds. So the speed, if you have it under control, as long as you know what you're doing, you can make this tool work quite well for yourself. If you want to run it all out against all the data all the time, yeah, you're going to have a little bit of wait time. You're going to have to drink a lot of coffee in between. But if you use a sampling, if it works for you, it can be a very effective tool. And even if you run it all out and then print it out and figure out and analyze, this is a lot of analyzing in between anyway. So you can analyze one workbook and go to another workbook and run that. If I come in here and let's say I want to take this and I want to look at by country. Once I have this up, right, I have all the Bluetooth headphones, and now I'm just going to run it by country. So I'm going to come down into my customer, and I'm just going to put country name in here. For this is worldwide country. So I'm going to drop that over. And now it has to calculate every country. Oh, that was very quick. That was like 4 seconds or 3 seconds. So here's Australia's breakout, Canada, China. All right, not bad. Not bad. Syria, Japan. Okay, so let's try one other one. Let's go even further. Let's break it down by state, province. All right, that took about 5 seconds too. So when you get to know the tool and the limitations, but look at all these different It breaks all the way down, all the way. It's broken all the way out. Okay, so anyways, that's how the tool works. It works just like a pivot table, except you have now this being able to isolate the product hierarchy. And I think this can be very effective for your analysis. I really think it's a cool tool. It took a while for me to figure it out on the back end, to figure out how to make it work like this on the front end. And that's what I'm going to do in the next section. Thank you. Thank you for watching.